Hi, I'm here to talk about the latest version of HTML, which is HTML5. So here's a rundown of what I'm going to discuss. I'll start with an overview, then I'll compare it with the historic predecessor, HTML4, and state some of its new features, which I believe is favorable to many web developers. We'll notice here that it is actually a major upgrade from the previous HTML versions. And since it is a technology that is still in the development phase, it may still take time before it gets finalized. I'll just mention here the browsers that to a certain extent have HTML5 support. Then I'll demonstrate how to use HTML5 and some of its new features. This includes some of the new tags and DOM APIs using JavaScript. Okay, so now we all know that HTML is the language used for creating web pages. By itself, it is not a standard. So we refer to the versions released by W3C in order to conform to standardized HTML specifications. The most recent W3C recommendations, without being specific about subversions, are HTML4 and XHTML1. However, the intended successor to these two is already being drafted, and that is HTML5. Actually, it isn't something that W3C itself has initiated. It was started by the Web Hypertext Application Technology Working Group, or simply WG. This was founded by individuals from well-known web-related companies like Apple, Mozilla, and Opera. According to them, they started the group because they were concerned about W3C's direction with XHTML, lack of interest in HTML, and disregard for the needs of real-world authors. Now, it has become a community composed of people who are interested in evolving the web. After some time, probably due to the growing interest in their project and the support that they are gaining from browser vendors, their work was adapted by W3C's new HTML working group in 2007. This means that it is on its way to becoming a W3C recommendation. However, the two working groups have not merged. In effect, there are two entities working on HTML5. That is the WHAT working group and the HTML working group. But they are collaborating through the aid of an editor. The current one, Ian Hickson, is a member of both groups. The first working draft was released on January 22, 2008. The latest was on August 25, 2009. So it's still quite new. Because the drafting is still ongoing, specifically in its early stages, the specs are still volatile. There is even a public editor's draft that is asking for comments. Since there are two groups working on this project, you can view the drafts from two websites, from w3c.org and whatwg.org. So, what are its differences with HTML4? I just mentioned some of them here because there are many of them. First of all, it is no longer based on the Standard Generalized Markup Language, or SGML. So it has its own or new parsing rules. Then it is a single language that can be expressed both in HTML and XML syntax. Unlike before, HTML4 is separate from XML1, XHTML1. So it is planned to replace both of them. It will also replace the document object model or DOM level 2 HTML. Then in its doc type declaration, there is no need to indicate the version. So in HTML5, the doc type declarations are shorter and easier to remember. Of course, it has several features that not present in the previous version. These include inline SVG and MathML. Then the addition of new elements. I will be demonstrating some of them here. Along with these new elements are new attributes and behaviors. And since there are new elements and attributes, then that also means that there are new additions to the DOM API. On surface, we can also see that it is capable of providing rich internet application-like features without the aid of third-party technologies like Flash and Silverlight. Now for the browser support, again, since this is still in the development phase, according to the editor, it is expected to become a W3C recommendation in 2022 or later. So current support for HTML5 is a bit sketchy. Behavior is not consistent across different browsers, if they even support the new features at all. But some browsers, specifically their latest versions, support a wide range of the new features. By acclamation and through my own experience, it seems that the leaders in this area are Safari and Chrome. Firefox also supports a good number of the features, while Opera has the best support for HTML5's forms. Among the most popular browsers, Internet Explorer seems to have the least support. Now I'll proceed with the demonstrations.